Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Hiruzen put Naruto under CRA and he had multiple wives? Naruto x Harem, Part 3. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this and comment for next part. And now let's start the fanfic. It seems you guys are not as useless as I previously thought. Alright, let's go. Besides, I already had my fun. Gaara said with his wicked smile and then started to walk, followed by his siblings. What does he mean by that? Did he already kill someone? Kankuro asked mentally. The person with the black cloak was traveling fast around the forest with Naruto in their arms when they suddenly run past Sakura. Hey, that was Naruto-kun. Sakura said, and then changed course to follow that person. Hey wait, that's my teammate. Sakura said. The cloaked person then stopped and turned around to face Sakura. So he is your teammate. That's good to hear, he needs medical attention as soon as possible. The person said, and judging by their voice, it was a female as old as Kurenai. What happened to him? Sakura asked as she was horrified to see Naruto like this as he was covered with bruises all over his body. He was fighting an opponent that proved too difficult for him, but don't worry, he's still alive. The woman said to reassure the girl. Thank you very much, miss, but who are you? Sakura asked. You'll find out another time. The woman said and then ran off. Naruto-kun, don't worry, I'll take care of you, but first, we have to find Sasuke. I hope he's okay. Sakura said as she thought back to her teammate, and then headed back to where he was. So, that was your son, huh, big sister? The girl said mentally. Why is here? Anko asked mentally as she ran through the forest while Orochimaru was resurfacing from the tree. He's close, I can feel him. Anko thought as she sped up. She then arrived at the spot where Orochimaru resurfaced. Ah, Anko, it's so nice to see you after all those years. Orochimaru said. This is no time to reminisce. You're an S-class missing nin and it's fitting that I am the one to finish you off since after all, you're the one who taught me everything. Anko smirked. Now, that's amusing. Orochimaru replied, getting a rise out of the girl as she took out 3 needles. She was about to throw them when Orochimaru shot out his ridiculous tongue. She was able to avoid by jumping out of the way, but then it reached her and grabbed the hand in which she was holding the needles and pulled her down, but she was able to land on her feet. Seigetsu, hidden snake hands, Anko yelled, and then snakes materialized from inside the sleeve out of her trapped arm and then headed toward Orochimaru and grabbed him, and she then pulled him back and smacked him into the tree and placed her left hand on his right hand and pinned it to the tree by stabbing through with a kunai. Ah, I got you. Now, let me borrow that hand out of you for just a sec. Anko grinned and then used Orochimaru's left hand and started to do seals with it using her right hand along with his left hand. That hand seal, Orochimaru said as he recognized it. That's right, you and I are going to die together. Ninpu. Twin snake sacrifice. Anko began to say but was cut off by the laughing of Orochimaru. What's so funny? Anko asked. What's so funny is that you will die alone, Anko my dear. Orochimaru said as he then turned into mud. That was my Kawarini. Orochimaru said as he appeared behind Anko and then took off the face he was using, revealing his real one. He then started to laugh at her misfortune. Of course, you're one of the elites now, huh? Would look bad if you were using a technique I taught you. Orochimaru said as he walked toward her. Anko takes her kunai out of her hand and throws at Orochimaru, who catches it between his 2 fingers. Orochimaru then smirked and does a seal, and Anko falls to the ground as she was clutching something on her neck. Why are you here? Are you here to assassinate Hokage-sama? Anko asked. Killing that old geezer will take more followers. I came here for something more simplistic. You see, I heard that Uchiha Sasuke, the last of his clan, was participating at this year's exam and thus I just had to see him for more own eyes. When I did, I was so impressed that I decided to mark him with the curse seal. Orochimaru replied. The curse seal. Are you insane? That boy won't survive. Anko said. That is true, there is only a 2 chance that anyone can survive the seal, but that boy will definitely survive because his need for revenge will allow him to. What's the matter? Are you jealous? Jealous that this boy has more potential than you? Are you still sad that I threw you away like trash, huh Anko? Orochimaru asked. You won't get away with this. Anko said. And what will you do about it? Don't worry, I am not going to do anything else for now. However, if the Hokage or anyone decides to cancel this exam, I will attack this village and destroy it. Until next time, Anko. Orochimaru said and then disappeared, leaving Anko all by herself. In one clearing, Neji, Tenten, and Lee were relaxing slightly. Single quote. The sun should be up in less than an hour, Neji said and then continued, we've spent a day gathering provisions to supplement what was in our packs. Most teams are resting, making this the best time to attack and steal their scrolls. Let's split up and spend 20 minutes scouting the area. But, whether you find another team or not, we return here in 30 minutes, got it? Neji finished talking and he stabbed a kunai into the ground point first. Okay, Tenten said. Roger. Lee said as he saluted Neji. All 3 of the genin leapt off in different directions. Meanwhile, Team 7 were in another clearing not too far from Neji's team. Sakura had put the 2 boys on the ground in a small cave-like entrance so that they could rest while she looked over them. What happened to Sasuke? And who were those 2? Sakura asked herself mentally as she remembered finding Sasuke on the floor and a guy who looked like him but older sitting next to him, smoking. That man nodded and then disappeared. Then there was also that woman she found when looking for Naruto. If only I was strong enough, then maybe those 2 wouldn't have been so badly injured. Sakura thought. On the edge of the clearing, 3 figures peered over the bushes at Team 7. The Sound Nin trio had finally found their targets. Heh, there they are. Dosu said. The one with the bandages, as Orochi-sama commanded, we attack at daybreak. Our target is Uchiha Sasuke. If the other 2 get in our way we can kill them, right? Zaku, the other boy asked. Of course, Dosu replied. Dawn broke over and Sakura was a bit weary but still awake. She had healed the boys of their wounds and they were both sleeping peacefully. She then suddenly heard a rustling sound, and took out her kunai in case of danger, only to find a squirrel. Only a squirrel. Sakura said as she noticed coming over. She then frowned and threw a kunai at the squirrel, making it stop and go back. Someone planted an explosive on that squirrel, but who? Sakura said mentally. I thought for sure that would have worked. Did you think she saw it? Zaku growled. No, that's not it, Dosu said. What do you mean, Dosu? Zaku asked. We'll probably find out when we get closer, so, let's go. Dosu said as he cleared the bushes in front of him and then they jumped in. Who are you 2? Sakura asked. Us. There's no need for you to know who we are, all we want is Sasuke. Dosu said. Sasuke. Why? What do you want with him? Sakura asked as she prepared to defend her comrade. Our master, Orochimaru, told us to find Sasuke and fight and to kill anyone who gets in your way, which means you little girl. So, if you don't to die, move. Zaku said. Why don't you make me? Sakura smirked. That's it, I'm going to kill her then Sasuke. Zaku said and started to walk toward her when Dosu stopped him. Wait Zaku, Dosu told his teammate. Why? Zaku asked. Dosu walked forward and knelt down. You're not very good, a recently overturned stone, different colored dirt, grass where it would never grow, he said as he felt the ground. Sakura froze as Dosu lifted up a part of the ground and continued, a booby trap is pointless unless it goes unnoticed. PFT, stupid, Zaku smirked. So the kunai you threw earlier was to keep the squirrel from springing the trap? Dosu asked. Kill her, he ordered. All three sound shinobi leapt into the air, at which point Sakura's face grew a smirk that. With a quick flick of Sakura's kunai, a wire was severed and a giant log swung down towards the shinobi in midair. Another trap above. No! Dosu exclaimed. As the log swung closer, the bandaged shinobi slammed his arm with the metal device on it against the log. With a loud bam, the log exploded before it could hit the three sound shinobi, causing Sakura to gasp. She hadn't thought sound waves could be so powerful. Frankly speaking, you have very little talent. People like you have to work harder. A weakling like you shouldn't mess with guys like us, yelled Dosu. Actually, I have more talent than you think. Sakura smirked. Then, all three ninjas found themselves in Sakura's Senbon Sakura Genjutsu. What? A Genjutsu? That means those traps were just diversions in order for her to activate her Genjutsu. That girl's tougher than she looks, Dosu said, and they then cancel the Genjutsu. Ninpu. Senbon Sakura no Mai, Sakura yells out, and then 1,000 cherry petals head toward the trio. Like petals are going to hurt us. Zaku smirked. Zaku. Those aren't normal petals. Blast them now, Dosu warned as he saw some of the petals cut through the trees. Zaku nodded, immediately formed the hand seals for his attack as he yelled, Zenkuaha, air slicing blast. And a powerful gust of wind shot out of his palms, blasted the petals away and slammed Sakura into a tree trunk. The girl pulled herself out of the tree and shook her head to clear it. The trio were about to advance on her when Lee appeared and kicked all three of them before landing in front of Sakura. Who the hell are you? The girl named Kin asked. My name is Rock Lee, the green beast of Konoha. Lee said. Lee, what are you doing here? Sakura asked, confused. I was on my way to get some scrolls for my team when I heard noises of fighting around here, and then I saw you fighting them, and I knew that I could not let a fellow comrade all by herself, and thus I decided to come and help you, Sakura-san. Lee explained. Thank you, Lee, but I don't need your help. Sakura said. No, Sakura, allow me to help you, please. Let me prove myself as a worthy comrade. Lee said. Zaku, you get to kill Sasuke while I handle that taijutsu guy with the freaky eyebrows. Dosu said as he handed Zaku the scroll, and then dashed for Lee. Sakura threw a kunai, but Dosu jumped out of the way. Alright, guy sensei, I have found someone to protect and therefore will use this technique, the lotus. Lee thought as he undid his bandages. Lee then disappeared and reappeared below Dosu and kicked him into the air like Sasuke does for his Shishi Renden. Once Dosu is in the air, Lee then performs the cage buyu and wraps Dosu around his bandages, and then starts to go down spinning. Oh no, Dosu. There's no way he can break his fall. Zaku said, and then performed seals for his technique. Omit Renge. Lee said. And then slammed Dosu to the ground, or so it would seem, as Zaku was able to perform his technique on time and cushion Dosu's fall. Looks like I got you just in time. That would have been a hard fall if it wasn't for me. Zaku grinned. What? No, that cannot be. Lee said, breathing hard as he saw Dosu get himself off the ground and shook himself off. That's one frightening technique you got there, kid. Nearly took me out even though I landed on this soft dirt. Now, it's my turn. Dosu said as he prepared his gauntlet. Oh no, my body has not recovered from the lotus yet. Lee said mentally, fatigued. Dosu then ran toward Lee and swiped his hand, and even though he started to feel some distortion in him. Lee, Sakura said, your jutsu is fast, but ours are even faster because they travel at the speed of sound, so yours are useless. Now, let us show you the wall that hard work cannot overcome. Dosu said, and his teammates grinned. He then saw blood coming Lee's ears and smirked. You see, my gauntlet allows me to send vibrations to any part of your body. Being able to hear something means your eardrum catches the vibration in the air, and the human eardrum will shatter at anything above 150 decibels, causing the opponent to lose his sense of balance, disabling your movement for a little. Dosu explained. Your outdated taijutsu will not work on us. It worked for a little while but not anymore, and I already showed you my technique. I can control supersonic waves and air pressure, and I'm capable of destroying a rock. I can send air to the ground and make it cushion like I did to stop your technique. Zaku smirked as he explained, and then underneath his arms were two small holes that shot out air. Damn it, Lee thought. Dosu then ran toward Lee and threw a punch with his gauntlet, and even though Lee blocked it, he was still affected by the vibrations. Even if you block my attack, my gauntlet amplifies the vibrations, like a speaker. Also, I can add my chakra into it and send it to another target, thus not limiting myself to my hand only. Dosu laughed. Why do people have to get hurt to protect me? Why can't I help them? Sakura thought as she remembered when others used to protect her from bullies when she was little. If you don't want them to get hurt, then let me have some fun. Inner Sakura said, and then Sakura slumped to the floor. Sakura, Lee said while gritting in pain. Sakura then got back up and started to laugh, startling everyone. What's so funny, you little bitch? Dosu asked. Sakura then lifted her head and everyone was shocked as this Sakura had a wilder, meaner looking face than before. Nothing. Just thinking about how I'm going to kick your, Sakura said, and then punched Dosu right in the face, so hard that it sent him crashing him to a tree. Sakura, Lee gasped. This is so much fun. Sakura laughed. Why, you little bitch? Zaku roared and prepared for his technique and then unleashed. How dull. Sakura Heiki, blossom wall. Sakura yawned and then a wall of blossom petals blocked the wave. No way. She blocked them with her tiny petals. Zaku growled in disbelief. What the hell is she? Kin asked. Your worst nightmare. Ninpu. Show Sakura Satsu, rising blossom murder, Sakura said, and then a wave of highly sharp blossom petals rose from the ground, cutting Zaku in multiple places, not killing him but knocking him out cold. Zaku, Kin said, and turned back to look at Sakura, only to see the girl right in front of her. Stay back. Kin yelled out and tried to hit her with her kunai, but Sakura caught with her right hand. Now scream for me. Sakura smirked evilly and then did a seal, and Kin started to scream for a while and then went down unconscious. Sakura then clutched her head in pain. What happened? Sakura asked. What do you mean what happened? You do not remember? Lee asked. No, I don't. One moment I was on the ground and the next all three of these sound nins are on the ground beaten up. Sakura said. She really don't remember. Lee thought in surprise. Sakura. Naruto said as he started to wake up, and so did Sasuke. Naruto-kun. Sasuke. Sakura said happily as she saw her teammates wake up. What the hell happened? Where am I? Sasuke asked as he looked around. He then remembered that Kyo was here and looked around, but he was nowhere. Where is he? Where's Kyo-senpai? Sasuke asked. And how come Gaara isn't here? Where are we, Sakura, and what did happen here? Naruto asked. Sasuke, we were ordered to fight you, but your teammate proved to be too strong. Next time, we will make sure she does not interfere. Dosu said as he took his teammates and then left, leaving two startled boys. I don't know what happened. 1 minute they were about to beat us and then they are on the ground. I really don't know what happened. As for your questions, a woman rescued you, Naruto, and brought me to you, and as for you, Sasuke, I found you where you left me and there was a man there. He saw me and then disappeared. Sakura explained. I see. Sasuke nodded and then went touch the part of his neck where Orochimaru has bitten, but he didn't feel anything. Kyo-senpai must have taken care of that curse. Sasuke said mentally. Lee, why are you here? Naruto asked. I saw Sakura-san in danger and tried to help her. Lee answered. And then you ended up getting beat up. Ten said as she and Neji were up in a tree. Hey guys. How did you know I was here? Lee asked. We never saw you back at our original hideout, and so we started to look for you and found you here using my Byakugan. Now come on. Let's go, we have the scrolls we need. By the way, Sasuke, it looks a girl had to save your sorry. Neji said to Lee, and the last part to the Uchiha with a smirk. Shove it, Neji. Sasuke growled. All right then, fellow comrades, I will see you later. And Sakura, thank you for saving me. I owe you my life. Lee said. No problem. Sakura said, still oblivious as to what she did or her other self did. 10-10 helped Lee get back up, and then they and Neji headed back. Alright then, let's get the last scrolls so we can pass this test. Naruto said, and the others nodded. On their way, they met Kabuto, and with his help, they were able to overcome the genjutsu of a rain ninja team and able to get the scrolls needed to pass this test. Though despite helping them, Naruto still had some suspicions about Kabuto. Sorry if I am being lazy about this part, but I really didn't feel like writing it. It's pretty much like in the original, to be honest. They finally found the tower and found Kabuto's two teammates waiting. You're late, Kabuto, said one, who wore Shino-like sunglasses over his eyes. We ran into some trouble, sorry, Kabuto said as he scratched the back of his head. But it was thanks to you that we were aware of those ambushes and were able to anticipate them. Sakura said. No, it was all thanks to you three, that we got through those so easily. You and Sasuke were really great at the end, Naruto, Kabuto said. We are going through this door, Kabuto said to the genins. Good luck to all of you, Sakura said to Kabuto's team, and the two teams separated. How was the harvest? A voice asked once the door had closed behind Kabuto's team. The three walked up to a man leaning against the wall of the room. It was above expectations, Kabuto said. I've written down all their data from the second test. You want this, right? The silver-haired genin said and held up in their info cards. Haha, so you're that interested, the man said as he took the cards, which were for Team 7, so how did it go? He asked. Orochimaru-sama, Kabuto said, not quite sure what the former Konoha Sennin wanted from him. I want to know your opinion as our spy, Orochimaru said. That's unnecessary, Kabuto as he passed his hand over his face, since everything will be decided by you. Kabuto said, lowering his hand, and as he did, the wound he had across his face from the battle had alongside Team 7 was gone, with no sign it had ever existed. Orochimaru disappeared in a puff of smoke, though his voice lingered to say, hey, I like that intelligence of yours, good work. Once inside, Team 7 saw a scroll on the wall with some writing on it. What is that? Sasuke asked. Let's see here. If you do not possess Heave, go and gain knowledge and power. If you do not possess Earth, run through the field and gain strength. If you possess both, dangerous paths turn into safe ones. This is the secret of something something. It will lead you on your way. Sakura said as she read it. What the hell does that I have to do with anything? Sasuke asked. It's probably referring to the scrolls, which means in order to understand the full depth of this message, we have to open them. Naruto said, and Sasuke and Sakura each took one. They looked at each other and then at Naruto and opened them all at the same time. What was inside the scroll was a large kanji inside of a circle. What in the world? All it says is person, Jin. Sasuke said as the team were dumbfounded by what they discovered. Then, the kanji in each burst. That's a summoning inscription. We probably just activated it. You two, let go of the scrolls now. Naruto said, and both Sasuke and Sakura did as told, tossing them away. The smoke then cleared and it revealed to be Iruka-sensei. Yo, how it's going? Iruka said. Wait, what's going on? Sakura asked. Looks like you went through a lot of trouble. Iruka smiled. Why were you in the summoning technique, Iruka-sensei? Naruto asked, intrigued. It's our responsibility as Chunins to welcome the examinees at the second of the test. I was give the job to give you guys a message by chance. Iruka explained. A message? Sasuke repeated. Phew. You guys made it in time. Iruka said as he looked at his pocket watch. He then put it back into his pockets and stared at the genins, Everyone, you have officially passed the second test of the Chunin exam. Uruka said. The genins breathed a sigh of relief and all fell to the floor, relieved to have passed. Finally, we made it. Sakura said. One question, Uruka-sensei. If we looked into the scrolls, what would you have planned to do? Naruto asked with a smirk. This exam tests your mission completion ability. We wanted to see if you go, retrieve an item, and return to the tower without looking at the item and instead just focus on the mission. If you had indeed looked, then I would have been ordered to knock you unconscious until the completion of the exam for penalty. Uruka explained as he picked up the scrolls. Just as I thought. That's why Anko didn't answer Sasuke's question earlier. Naruto said, referring to when Sasuke had asked his question to Anko before this test. Oh, by the way, sensei, what does this writing on the wall means? It seems to be broken and we can't understand it. Sakura asked. I'm glad you asked, Sakura, since that's my other mission. The writing on the wall is the principle the Hokage wrote that you should keep in mind as a Chunin. The heaven in the text points to the person's head and earth points to the body. If you don't have heaven, go and seek knowledge. If you don't have earth, go and seek bodily strength. And if you have both, dangerous paths will become safe for you and it can become much easier. Uruka explained. Then what about that missing letter? Sakura asked as she pointed to it. It's the letter that symbolizes a Chunin. The human letter that was in that scroll was what goes there. Uruka said as he pointed to the kanji in the scroll. Hence why we could not open them until we reached the tower and saw the message. Naruto added. As perceptive as always, Naruto. Uruka said. The survival exam you guys took in 5 days tested the basic abilities of the examinees as a Chunin and you guys completed it. A Chunin is a commander class. He has the duty to lead a team. Deeply inscribe in your heart the importance of knowledge and strength in mission. Never forget that principle and go on to the next step, but please don't push yourselves too hard in the third exam. Uruka said. Don't worry about a thing, Uruka-sensei, we'll be fine. Sasuke said. Besides, we're shinobis now, not academy students, and this headband is the mark of this commitment. Naruto added to what Sasuke said. Gomen, you guys. I shouldn't underestimate your abilities and worry so much. Uruka said. Team 7 then entered the door and found themselves in a large arena where all the teams that had passed the exam, including the Sand siblings and the Sound team. Zaku was bandaged up and the girl had recovered but still was not 100. There were 78 people that took this test and only 21 passed. Not bad, but I was hoping that 10 would be left, not 21. Anko thought with a smirk as she and all the Junins, Chunins and Hokage were standing in front of all the participants. It looks like Sasuke-kun's team passed. I'm so glad, Hinata thought as she saw Sasuke and his team. You team is good after all, Kakashi. Perhaps they were lucky. But as long as my team is there, they won't go further since in this stage, personal abilities are critical. Youth is sweet and sour and you're too strict, Kakashi. Guy said as also saw Team 7. Huh? Did you say something? Kakashi asked Guy. Oh my god. Guy yelled out in a dramatic fashion. Hokage-sama will now explain the third test. Listen carefully, Anko said. Sarutobi stepped forward and started to explain the true purpose of the Chunin exam. Excuse me, Hokage-sama, said a Junin that appeared in the middle of the arena. From here on, as the referee, will you allow me, Gekko Hayate, to explain? By all means, Sarutobi said as he gestured for the Junin to address the gathered genin. Hello everyone, I'm Hayate, said the man as he turned around to reveal a sickly-looking face. Before the third test, there's something I'd like you to do. It's a preliminary for the third test, to decide who gets to participate in the main event. Preliminary? Naruto asked. Why do we need one? This sounds too troublesome, Shikamaru asked. Because the first and second tests may have been too easy this year, we have a bit too many people remaining, said Hayate. According to Chunin exam rules, we must have a preliminary round reduce the number of participants for the third test. As Hokage-sama said, there will be many guests at the third test, so the fights could take too long and were limited in time. There were murmurs running through the small crowd of genin at this announcement. Everyone was suddenly realizing they wouldn't get a chance to go to the third round. So anyway, those who are not feeling well and those who feel like quitting after hearing these explanations, please come forward now, since we will be starting the preliminary immediately. What should we do about that Sasuke kid who Anko said was given the curse seal by Orochimaru? Asked Ibiki as he recalled the information the special Junin gave to them after her encounter with Orochimaru. We should remove him from the exam and have the Anbu watching over and protecting him, Anko said. No, he won't agree to that easily, Kakashi with a small smile. Sasuke wants to prove himself worthy of being an Uchiha and he won't give up. I don't care. By just releasing chakra the curse becomes active and forcibly pulls out chakra. It's a forbidden jutsu which eats at the user's body. It's amazing that Sasuke has held on for so long, he should be dead. Anko exclaimed. If the curse begins opening and releasing power, then jump in and stop him, Hokage said. All the Junin nodded. I'm going to quit, Kabuto said as he raised his hand. That's strange, Naruto thought as he stared at Kabuto. You're Yakushi Kabuto from Konoha, right? Asked Hayate as he looked through a pile of papers, presumably one each per genin in the room. You may leave now. Oh, I forgot to tell you that from here on it will be individual battling. You may raise your hand based on your own judgment. Kabuto-san, why are you quitting? Sakura asked. I'm sorry, but my body is all beat up. Actually, I haven't been able to hear out of my left ear from the time I got attacked by the sound shinobi from the first round, and now that we'll have to risk our lives, I just can't go on. Kabuto explained. I've seen him before, didn't he quit during the final round last year? What's he thinking? Sarutobi asked. Anko looked through her folder containing the history of each participant in the third round and said, Yakushi Kabuto's data, he's failed 6 straight times. Anko said. What kind of record is that? Kakashi asked. He raised one eyebrow. He's an average shinobi since his academy days, 14D rank and 2C rank missions, but it's his record from before the academy that is interesting. Do you remember the story of the boy found at the Bellflower Pass? Anko said. I remember now, that young boy who was brought back from the battle at Bellflower Pass. Apparently, a Junin from the medical team brought back a child of the enemy who survived the battle, so he's that child. Sarutobi said. You sure are devoted, let me handle everything, is what I'd like to say, but, Kabuto said mentally as he stared at the only hidden sound Junin present, Naruto-kun, Sasuke-kun, I would have liked to play with you a little longer, but, any more and the old blood will start boiling. I am a spy after all, I can't reveal my true face here. Kabuto thought. The sound Junin gave a barely noticeable nod of his head. Perfect. If you will be watching them, my job of gathering information is done, Orochimaru-sama. Kabuto thought. You've been a spy, hiding in your fake self since you were a child, look like you are trying your best to hold down that boiling blood, Orochimaru thought. Disguised as the sound Junin, the snake Sanin grinned inside his head at the way his spy had played his role. Kabuto exchanged a few words with his dark spectacled teammate before waving to Naruto and his team and walking out of the arena. I'll save the fun for some other time, Sasuke-kun, Naruto-kun, thought Kabuto as soon as no one could see the evil smirk on his face. Now let's begin the preliminary. This preliminary consists of one-on-one fighting. You will basically be fighting as if your life is on the line in a real-life confrontation. Since we now have 23 contenders, one lucky person will receive a free pass to the next round with the winners of the other 12 matches. There are basically no rules. The fight continues until one of you is knocked out or admits your defeat. If you don't want to die, admit your defeat quickly. But when I decide a winner has clearly been established, since we're trying to decrease the amount of corpses, I'll jump right in and stop things. And the object that controls your destiny is. Hayate said. Open it, Anko said into her microphone headset. A panel in the wall moved up to reveal an electronic scoreboard. As this electronic scoreboard which will show the matches for each fight, Hayate said and then added, now, this is sudden but let's announce the names of the first 2 contestants. Everyone watched the scoreboard while wondering if they would have to go first. The board suddenly revealed 2 names, Uchiha Sasuke and Akado Yoroi. Sweet. I'm first. Sasuke grinned. Will everyone but the participants please move to the observation balconies? Hayate asked. Everyone did as the sickly Junin asked. The other Junin stood by their teams but Kakashi however had stopped to talk to Sasuke. Don't use your Sharingan, got it? Kakashi whispered. So you know about it, huh? Don't worry though, Senpai fixed it for me so I'll be just fine. Sasuke smirked. Senpai. He is talking about that Kyo guy. I may have to tell that to Hokage-sama soon. Kakashi thought. Alright then, go get him but I will butt in just in case it gets out of control, Kakashi then said to his student and then went up meet the rest of the team. Sasuke then walked up and met Yoroi face to face. Now, let the first match of the preliminaries begin. Hayate said. Now let's begin the preliminary. This preliminary consists of one-on-one fighting. You will basically be fighting as if your life is on the line in a real-life confrontation. Since we now have 23 contenders, one lucky person will receive a free pass to the next round with the winners of the other 12 matches. There are basically no rules. The fight continues until one of you is knocked out or admits your defeat. If you don't want to die, admit your defeat quickly. But when I decide a winner has clearly been established, since we're trying to decrease the amount of corpses, I'll jump right in and stop things. And the object that controls your destiny is. Hayate said. Open it, Anko said into her microphone headset. A panel in the wall moved up to reveal an electronic scoreboard. As this electronic scoreboard which will show the matches for each fight, Hayate said and then added, now, this is sudden but let's announce the names of the first 2 contestants. Everyone watched the scoreboard while wondering if they would have to go first. The board suddenly revealed 2 names, Uchiha Sasuke and Akado Yoroi. Sweet. I'm first. Sasuke grinned. Will everyone but the participants please move to the observation balconies? Hayate asked. Everyone did as the sickly Junin asked. The other Junin stood by their teams but Kakashi however had stopped to talk to Sasuke. Don't use your Sharingan, got it? Kakashi whispered. So you know about it, huh? Don't worry though, Senpai fixed it for me so I'll be just fine. Sasuke smirked. Senpai. He is talking about that Kyo guy. I may have to tell that to Hokage-sama soon. Kakashi thought. Alright then, go get him but I will butt in just in case it gets out of control, Kakashi then said to his student and then went up meet the rest of the team. Sasuke then walked up and met Yoroi face to face. Now, let the first match of the preliminaries begin. Hayate said. Namikaze Hokage. Chapter 9. The preliminaries begins. So, any last words before I bash your face in? Sasuke asked with a smirk. You're one punk, aren't you? However, if I were you, I wouldn't underestimate my opponent. Yoroi growled. Oh, I'm not underestimating you. I just know that I'm going to win, that's all. Sasuke smirked. Isn't that the same as acting? Why? Team 7 all thought. Why you little punk? I'll shut you up. Yoroi said and then dashed at Sasuke and punched him hard, making him skid to the ground several feet back. So, did you like that, punk? Yoroi said but then was taken aback when Sasuke started to laugh. What's so funny? Yoroi asked. Nothing. It's just that I expected a punch, not a love-a-tap. Sasuke smirked as he got back up. Man, Sasuke's why? Shikamaru said. You would too if you were as strong as him. Ino said. Maybe, but being Y is way too troublesome for me. Shikamaru replied. Everything for you is troublesome. Ino thought. Damn it, Sasuke. This isn't the time to be overconfident. Finish him off now. Naruto growled. Chill, Naruto. I got this under control, just having a little fun, that's all. Sasuke replied. That fool, he doesn't understand what happens when an opponent is allowed to linger on too much. Naruto said mentally. Yoroi growled and then rushed at Sasuke and threw a punch, but Sasuke parried it and then countered with a hard backhand punch to the stomach, sending Yoroi flying to a wall. Come on now, you can't be down after that, I wasn't even trying. Sasuke said. I refuse to lose, until I have proven myself stronger than him. Yoroi said and then gets back up from the wall and then dashes toward Sasuke. He throws another punch and Sasuke parries, but then Yoroi grins and grabs Sasuke's arm and then, his hand turns blue. Suddenly, chakra from Sasuke is starting to be absorbed by Yoroi's hand. What the hell are you doing? Sasuke yelled. Simple, fool. I am using my Kekai Genkai to absorb all of your chakra in order to make myself stronger, faster while making you weaker. Yoroi answered. Sasuke tries to pry Yoroi's hand off his arm but then started to slump to the ground as he began to feel weak. Sasuke. Sakura said. That idiot. This is why I told him to finish off the opponent right away. Naruto said mentally. Now that I got what I needed, here's payback. Yoroi said and then lifted Sasuke and started to pummel him with a volley of punches, with the last punch sending him flying to the wall on the other side. Ha, 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 now I win and you lose, Uchiha. Yoroi said as he laughed. Now what will you do, Sasuke-kun? If you want to win against Yoroi and his Kekai Genkai, you will need your Sharingan, but if you use it, then my curse seal will take effect. Orochimaru said mentally. Looks like I can't play around any longer. That's too bad, Sasuke said as he started to get back up. You said that ability is your Kekai Genkai, correct? Well then, let me show you mine. Sasuke said and then the Sharingan appeared, but what surprised most was no sign of the curse seal. What? Where is the curse seal? Why didn't it activate after he unleashed his Sharingan? It should have activated, unless someone negated it, but that's impossible, it's foolproof. Orochimaru yelled in his head and he tried to use the same seal he did on Anko to activate her curse seal, but nothing happened, angering him even more. That can't be. Whoever did this will pay. Orochimaru growled mentally and then did a seal and poofed away. It looked like that Kyo guy did negate the seal after all, but the only people I know that can do something like that are the Hokage and Jiraiya the Toad Sannin, and I never heard of a Kyo person, so who the heck is he? Kakashi asked. So what about it? In case you've forgotten about it, I've absorbed nearly all of your chakra and thanks to it, I've gotten much faster and stronger. Yoroi laughed and he then started to move around Sasuke at high speeds, so fast that he was invisible to the eye. Well, he definitely got faster. Kakashi said. You really are stupid, are you? Sasuke said with a smirk, and then twists to his right and punches Yoroi in the face, knocking him down. How? I'm faster. Yoroi asked mentally. Yeah, you are, but to me, you're still slow. I don't need all my chakra, just enough for my Sharingan, and this. Sasuke said and his hands then started to become engulfed with chakra. I think I should listen to my teammate now and put an end to this. Sasuke added and then the chakra turned into fire. That's new. Kakashi said as he wondered what his student had in mind. Eat this. Uchiaryu. Ken no Jigoku Ryu Kan. Uchiha style. Fist of the Hell Dragon Flame. Sasuke yelled out and then punched Yoroi multiple times with his burning fists and then knocks him through the wall, full of burn marks and unconscious. It seems Yoroi is unable to continue this fight. The winner of the first match then is Uchiha Sasuke. Hayate said, followed by a cough. I told you I could handle this. Sasuke said as he walked up to his teammates. Well, you did almost lose because of your overconfidence. Kakashi said. I could have beaten much earlier, but then what fun would that be? Sasuke asked. That can get you killed, Sasuke. Naruto warned his teammate. I know, I won't do it, but even if I do, I don't plan on dying just yet. Sasuke said. The next two fights were pretty much one-sided. Aburame Shino was able to defeat Zaku from the sound by clogging up both his airholes with his bugs despite Zaku pretending to have an injured arm in a cast. However, what was discovered about Shino was the main highlight of the fight, as Neji was able to discover that Shino actually housed the bugs in his body, and Kakashi ended up explaining that the Aburame family used their bodies to house bugs in exchange for their combat abilities. This creeped out a lot of the examinees. The second one was between Kankuro and Mitsumi Sugiri. The latter had used his ability to wrap his body around Kankuro like rubber and snap the sand ninja's neck. But what he truly snapped was the puppet Karasu's neck, as the real Kankuro walked out of the bandages he originally used to hide his contraption. He then got his puppet wrap its arms around Mitsumi and then used it to crush his opponent's body. The other genins except for the boy's teammates were shocked by the boy's ruthlessness. Alright, we will not proceed to the next match, Hayate said, coughing, and the screen began to once go through the names of the remaining participants until it stopped on two names, Haruno Sakura and Yamanaka Ino. The girls looked at each other for a while and then nodded and went down to the stage. This should be interesting, Naruto said. This should be an easy win for Sakura considering Ino is just another fangirl. Sasuke smirked. That's what you think, Sasuke, but you know nothing about Ino. Out of everyone here, she is the most improved by far. Shikamaru thought as he heard what Sasuke said. Now, let the match begin, Hayate said. Before we begin, Sakura, I want to tell you something. I'm much more different than I was in the academy, much different. Ino smirked. I do not bear any grudge against you, Ino, but I will defeat you. Sakura said. Tell me, Sakura, what do you think of my hair? Ino asked as she got rid of the rubber that was holding her ponytail. What the hell does hair have to do with anything? Sasuke asked with a sweat drop behind his head. Something's not right, Naruto thought, but then his eyes widened as he saw some of Ino's hair move. Sakura, get out of the way, Naruto yelled, startling everyone. Ino then grins and her hair shot at Sakura, but the latter was about to see it coming and dodged out of the way. Ino's hair ended up piercing the wall like a bullet. What is that? Sakura asked, surprised. If it wasn't for Naruto, then my attack would have worked. You see, Sakura, I decided to infuse my hair with chakra, turning it into a living weapon. Ino explained. She turned her hair into a weapon by infusing chakra into it. Incredible, Naruto said, shocked. And on top of that, Ino's mind is too strong for any genjutsu of Sakura's to work on, thus making it much harder for Sakura to beat her. Shikamaru added on. The bigger question, however, is what brought on that chance. The Ino I know would have never been able to come up with that. Sasuke asked. I did, by giving her a talk. Asuma said. Flashback. Shikamaru, Choji, you guys go train while I talk to Ino about something. Asuma said to his team in one of the training grounds. The two boys nodded and headed deeper into the training ground. What did you want to talk to me about, Asuma-sensei? Ino asked. It's about you, Ino. To be honest, I don't think you're cut out to continue being a shinobi. Asuma said with a stern tone. What do you mean I'm not cut out? I have my jutsus and I was one of the best in the academy. Ino argued. It's not about jutsus or the academy, it's about determination. Asuma replied. Determination? Ino repeated. Yes, determination. You and many of the girls in your class had determination, but that determination was only to impress boys, not to become great kunoichis. That is the kind of determination you lack, and until you do, you can never become a true kunoichi. Asuma said. But you're wrong, sensei. I do want to become a great kunoichi, I don't want to be a fangirl anymore. Shikamaru and Choji, They are so more useful than me in missions, and even though I know some of my family jutsus, I still feel like I'm a burden to this team. Please, help me, sensei. Ino said as she realized what her sensei was talking about. She realized that she has been toying her around with her duty as a kunoichi and that she needed to become stronger. Unfortunately, Ino, I can't. Asuma replied. What? Ino yelled. Ino, if you want to change and become strong, then you need to find your determination and protect it with your life. Once you have found something to put 100 determination into it, then you will become strong, I guarantee it. Asuma said as he kneeled to look face to face with the girl and put his hand on her shoulder. Thank you, sensei. Ino said as she wiped a tear from her eye. End flashback. Since then, she became a different Ino, a much stronger and focused Ino. A true kunoichi. Asuma said. I have trained constantly ever since that day, and as I did, I have found something to put 100% determination into, to prove myself as a true kunoichi, and that is something I am willing to put my life on. Ino said and then spun her hair toward Sakura. Sakura put up her hands to block, but the force of the hair was too great and knocked her back before she landed on the ground hard. Take this. Medusa raid. Ino said as she jumped in the air, and then her hair then turned into fists and struck Sakura all at once, punching her over and over again while the poor girl was trying to block them. Sakura. Naruto yelled. Had enough, Sakura. Ino said as she stopped her attack and landed back on the ground. I'm not done yet, Sakura said, all bruised up as she got back up. Give up, girl. You can't win, or rather I won't let you win. Ino said. You said you had your determination or goal, right? A reason to become a true kunoichi. Well, I have mine as well. You see, the reason I decided to be a kunoichi in the first place, the true reason for my dreams, is because of my mother. Sakura said. Your mother? Ino asked. Yes, my mother, because you see, I destroyed her dreams. Sakura replied. Destroyed her dreams? Ino asked as she and everyone were startled by the girl's revelation. Yes, she was a kunoichi on the rise to becoming one of the best in all of Leaf, but then she had me, and as you know, once a kunoichi gets a child, their chances of remaining a kunoichi fall to zero, and on top of that, she had to take care of me all by herself because my bastard of a father abandoned her. Sakura explained. But then your father is to blame, not you. Ino said. I know, but still, she ended up having to take care of me, and because of me, she had to quit as a ninja. I know she hates me, even if she tells me no, even if she tells me she loves me. Even when she used to put me to bed, I know she hates me because I was born and her dreams were shattered, Sakura said with closed eyes even though tears were flowing them. I felt that I needed to do something to make up to her, to make her proud of me, and that is why I decided to become a kunoichi, and a serious one, so that way I can become a powerful kunoichi and fulfill not only my dreams but also hers as well, and that is why I can never give up. Sakura said as she then opened her eyes full of determination, and then she went through seals. Ninpu. Sakura Kakuhen. Ninja art. Blossom whip. Sakura said, and then a whip out of petals was formed out of her chakra. You said that Ino had improved Shikamaru, and that is very true. However, Sakura has also improved even more, and hence why she will win. Naruto said. Now, let's fight. Sakura said and then lashed out her whip. Ino lashed out her hair and the two weapons started to clash at high speeds through the arena. Amazing, they're really going at it. 1010 said. The question is, who has the stronger weapon? Lee said. Medusa needles. Ino yelled out and then shot needles out of her hair toward Sakura, who used her whip to knock them down. My turn. Sakura Hitome, Sakura shower, Sakura said, and then her whip dismantles into a bundle of petals which then flew toward Ino. Like that's going to do anything. Ino said and then shot out her hair to pierce the bundle, but then the petals split apart and then struck Ino over her body, creating small cuts on her, causing to yell in pain before falling to the ground. Alright, she did it. Sasuke yelled out. Ino. Shikamaru and Choji yelled out in shock. It seems Yamanaka Ino is unable to continue, the winner therefore is. Hayate started to say but then was cut off by Sakura's painful scream. When everyone turned, they saw that Sakura was pierced by Ino's needle hair that Sakura had knocked down, and then the hair turned into wrappers that gripped Sakura's legs and arms and pinned her to the ground. What the heck? How is this happening? Sasuke asked. That girl's pretty good. Temari smirked. She's still just a weakling though. Gaara said bored. You forget that these needles were formed from my hair and thus I can use them whenever I want. Ino grinned as she got back up. Now, just hold still while I do this. Ino said. She's really going to do that jutsu. Shikamaru said as he realized what Ino had in mind. Ninpu. Shitenshin no jutsu. Ino yelled out and then performed her mind switch technique, causing her body to slump to the ground and her mind to enter Sakura's. I see now, she used those needles to hold Sakura in place so she can use her jutsu. Pretty clever. Now, Ino has this in the bag. Shikamaru said with an added smirk. I would not be so sure. Lee said, catching everyone's attention. What do you mean by that? Ino's technique allows her to take over any mind she wants, basically invading it. There's no defense for that. Shikamaru asked. Just trust me, she will find a way out. Lee said firmly. Does Lee know something we don't about her? And if he does, what is it? Naruto asked mentally as he looked at Lee. Meanwhile, Ino was in Sakura's mind, fully in control. Now, to make her quit and wins this match. Ino said. Excuse me, but what the hell do you think you're doing? A voice said, and when Ino turned around, inner Sakura was there with a smirk. What's going on? Who are you? Ino asked. It doesn't matter who I am, all I know is that you're in our head and I want you out, you bitch. Inner Sakura said and then punched Ino so hard that it cancelled the jutsu. What? My jutsu was cancelled. Ino said and then fell unconscious. No way. Sakura overcame the jutsu. Impossible. Shikamaru exclaimed. So my theory was correct, she does have split personality, hence why she was able to beat those sound genins and still not know what she did. Lee said mentally as he remembered the events in the forest. Then the winner is. Hayate began to say again, but then Sakura also fell to the ground unconscious. Sakura. Both boys exclaimed. It seems her injuries were too much for her in the end. Kakashi said. Since both combatants are out, this match results in a draw. Hayate said. Asuma and Kakashi looked at each other and nodded before going down there and getting their students. I'm really proud of you, Ino. You really showed true determination. Asuma thought. It looks like not even Sakura had a happy childhood. Naruto said to Sasuke, who nodded. By the looks of things, it looks like Sakura will be able to recover in 25 minutes, and with that she can heal Ino afterwards. Kakashi said as he checked on the girls. So she's your medical specialist? Asuma asked. Yeah, you can say that. However, one thing is for sure, I'm glad I entered them in the Chunin exam, she has grown so much more. Kakashi said. The fifth match. 10-10 versus Temari, come forward. Hayate said to get everyone's attention, and both girls quickly jumped into the floor and stared at each other face to face. Now, the second member of the Sand team. This could prove to be interesting. Neji said. However, 10-10 will lose because of the irrefutable gap between her and her opponent that she can never overcome with her skills. Neji added mentally. Good luck 10-10. Lee yelled. Well, Temari is weak but her opponent is much weaker, so she should have no problem defeating her. Gaara smiled. Begin. Hayate said, and the match was underway. Ino said as she started to wake up. I'm glad you're awake, Ino. Sakura said as she was still healing the girl's injuries. Our match is already over, it was a draw. Sakura added while Lee and Guy were cheering for their friend. I see, so we both lost, huh? Ino said. Yes we did, but I don't regret it at all since I know I did my best. Sakura smiled. So did I. Ino agreed. I will say this however. You have bloomed into a strong flower, Ino. Sakura grinned. Sakura. Ino said as she looked at her friend and then smiled. Just like I thought, she never stood a chance. Neji said. 10-10. Lee said as he could not believe his friend had just lost. Up on the floor, 10-10 was on the handle of Temari's fan as all of her weapons were rendered useless against the sand girl. How boring. Temari said. Like we'd lose here. Kankuro grinned. Those guys are dangerous. The Hokage thought. The winner of the 5th match is Temari. Hayate said. Temari then grinned and threw 10-10 off her fan and into the floor full of weapons, but luckily for 10-10, Lee appeared just in time to catch her. Nice catch. Temari smirked. What are you doing? Is that how you treat someone who gave her all in battle? Lee asked. Shut up and take that loser and get out of here. Temari replied. This made Lee mad and he jumped to perform his Konoha Senpu, but it was blocked by Temari's fan. Just as I thought. You're as pathetic as you look. Temari smirked. What? Lee said. Lee, stop right now. Guy said as he jumped into the floor. Damn. Temari thought as she saw Lee's sensei. Temari, get up here now. You've been declared a winner. You need to stop wasting time with those weaklings or else you'll get weaker. Gaara said, earning a glare from Lee. Lee, that's enough. Guy said that to calm his student, and then grinned, and looked up at the Sand team. Sand team, there's something I would like to warn you about if you don't mind. Guy said. This kid is strong. You better prepare yourself. Guy said. I wouldn't want to pick a fight with any of them. Kiba said. They all seemed so strong. Hinata added. Guy, Lee may be strong but Gaara is just a monster. Naruto thought. The next fight will be between Nara Shikamaru and Kinsuchi. Hayate said. Aw man I have to fight a girl. Shikamaru sighed as he headed toward the battle floor and so did the sound girl. You better not lose, Shikamaru. Ino yelled out. Damn, that girl can be so troublesome. Shikamaru thought. Begin. Hayate said. Listen, I don't really like fighting girls so just give up. Shikamaru said. Well, isn't he East? Sakura said mentally. There's no way I'm giving up. Besides, it should be easy for me to win this considering how scrawny you look. Kin grinned. And I thought this couldn't be easier. Shikamaru said with a grin. What do you mean by that? Kin growled only to find herself unable to move. What in the? What did you do? Kin asked. Simple. I used my shadow possession technique to capture your shadow. Shikamaru smirked. I see, so that whole conversation was just a distraction to catch her shadow. Pretty clever for a lazy ass. Naruto said. Now, to end this troublesome fight. We'll play, let's dodge the shuriken, game. Shikamaru grinned as he took out his shuriken and so did Kin. Wait a minute, this is crazy. You could die, Kin said. Well, I guess sometimes you gotta take risks. Hiya, Shikamaru said and then threw his shuriken and so did Kin. Shikamaru then went back and ducked the shuriken. Ah stupid, I'll just end doing the same. Kin said and then also ducked it but ended smacking her head into the wall, knocking her out. Oh.K. That was lame. Sasuke said as everyone's sweat dropped at the ending of this fight. A ninja always uses his environment to his advantage. But man, this was too troublesome, and I hate doing troublesome things. Shikamaru sighed and then walked back up. Ahem, now we'll move on to the next fight. Hayate said and then the screen began to go through the names once again. Let it be me, let it be me. Lee thought. The screen stopped on 2 names, Inuzuka Kiba and Namikaze Naruto. Talk about a heavyweight fight. One of the best in Taijutsu from our class versus the best ninjutsu user in our class. Choji said. I wished I had fought Sasuke instead but fighting Naruto isn't so bad too. Kiba smirked mentally. Well then, wish me luck. Naruto said and then he and Kiba both walked down to the floor for their fight. Now, We'll get to see if Naruto truly lives up to his father's reputation. Kurenai said mentally as she recalled what Kakashi said. Flashback. His old man. Who was his old man? Kakashi. Kurenai asked as she and the two male Junins were waiting for the results of the first test. What I am about to say cannot leave this room at all, Kakashi said, causing the other two to gulp in suspense. His father was none other than the Yondaime Hokage, Namikaze Minato. Kakashi revealed. No way. He's the son of the Yondaime Hokage. But how? The Hokage never had a son, Asuma exclaimed. Yep. The reason why most people did not know about it is because Minato never disclosed his last name to the public. Only me, Hokage, and a couple of others know his last name. Also, any information about Minato having a child was disclosed to the public. Kakashi explained. So then that child he used, was his own? Kurenai asked. Exactly. Kakashi said. No wonder. He's good. His old man was probably on the path of becoming the great ninja ever known to man, even surpassing my father. Asuma said. I can see why you would hold him to such esteem, Kakashi, but I still need to see him in action for myself before I buy into the hype. Kurenai said. End flashback. And now, I'll see him for myself against Kiba. Kurenai thought. Okay. The 8th match of these preliminaries, Inuzuka Kiba vs Namikaze Naruto. Begin. Hayate said. I can't believe I get to fight you, Naruto. However, even though we are comrades, I can't afford to lose to you. Kiba said. And I feel the same, Kiba. Naruto said. Alright, Akamaru, you stay put. I'm going in first to soften him up and then we'll finish him off together with our combination techniques. Kiba told his dog. Ninpu. Shikyaku no Jutsu. Ninja art. Quadruped technique. Kiba said and then clapped both hands together and then his nails and fangs straightened to grow bigger and he then got out on all fours like an animal about to pounce on its prey. What is that? Sakura asked. That must be the Inuzuka's clan specialty, the ability to become more animalistic and thus gain great strength and speed. Kakashi explained. Here I come. Kiba growled and then headed straight for Naruto at high speed and to Team 7's surprise tackled the young blonde, knocking him a few feet away, hitting the ground. Kiba's fast but not that fast. Naruto should have been able to react to that type of speed and counter. Sasuke said in disbelief. Yes, but he somehow couldn't. I wonder why, Kakashi asked. Naruto slowly got up and started to breath heavily. What's going on? My body, it wasn't able to react on time despite me seeing the attack coming, but why? Naruto thought. Now to use this technique. Suga. Piercing Fang. Kiba said and then started to spin so fast that he turned into a mini tornado and then headed straight for Naruto and was able to hit the blonde, knocking him back down again. Naruto, what the hell are you doing? Sasuke yelled at his teammate. So I guess he's all hype after all. Kurenai smirked mentally. Naruto tries to get back up but then falls on his knees and starts to cough some blood, surprising everyone. My body, it's still injured from the fight with Gaara, but how? Sakura-chan said she healed me. Naruto thought in disbelief. What the? I know I hit him hard but not this hard to wound him that bad. Kiba thought. Sakura, I thought you healed him. Sasuke asked. I did. I healed all of the bruises on his body, he should be fine. Sakura replied. Unless these wounds are internal wounds that you were unable to heal. Wounds that are from the inside are much more serious and can truly affect an individual's performance. Kakashi said. No, Naruto-kun, Sakura said as she looked on at the blonde. Damn it, Naruto, get up already so we can get on with this. Kiba growled as he did not want to win this way. Naruto's got no choice, he has to quit the match so he can be properly examined. But who could have done this to him? Kakashi asked mentally. Guys, did Naruto meet someone in the Forest of Death? Kakashi asked his other students. Well, let's see. Oh yes, he told me that he fought Gaara. Sakura said. You mean that red-haired guy? He fought him. Damn, this is bad. Sasuke said. What do you mean by that? Kakashi asked intrigued. We met him earlier before the exams and afterwards. Naruto told us that this guy was a monster and had a bloodlust even worse than Zabuza's and that we should avoid him at all costs. Sasuke explained. A bloodlust worse than Zabuza's? If that's truly the case, then it's no wonder he's in this shape. Kakashi said. Since Namikaze Naruto is unable to continue physically, the winner of this match is. Hayate started to say but was cut off by Naruto. Don't you dare stop this fight, Proctor. Naruto growled. Just stay down, Naruto. If Riz go on, you might die. Kiba said. So you rather win because I'm too injured to continue, is that it? Where is your pride as a shinobi, Kiba? Naruto smirked. Alright then, if you want to end up worse than you already are, then it's fine by me, but I warned you. Kiba said. Kage Bushin no Jutsu. Naruto said and then spawned 20 clones and dashed toward Kiba. Kage Bushin. That won't work against Kiba's sense of smell. Kurenai thought. You think he's got a plan? Sasuke said. Definitely. Kakashi answered. Okay, Akamaru, time for you to also have some fun. Kiba grinned and then inserted a purple pill into Akamaru's mouth and the dog swallowed. A soldier pill. This isn't good, Naruto. Kakashi thought. Then, Akamaru's fur turned red and he then jumped on the back of Kiba. Kiba intends to end it here. Kurenai thought. Time to do this, buddy. Jujin Bushin. Beast human clone. Kiba said and then Akamaru turned into another Kiba, Gatsuga. Kiba yelled out and then both he and Akamaru perform a Suga and then shredded into the clones and then headed for Naruto, who was standing there with his eye closed and breathing. Naruto, get out of the way. Sasuke yelled out. It's over. Kiba thought and then the clones were inches from hitting Naruto when the blonde suddenly vanished. What the hell? Kiba growled. He and Akamaru stopped and turned to see Naruto right behind them. What just happened? I thought his body couldn't move. Shikamaru asked shocked. I have absolutely no idea. Asuma said. I don't know how you moved that fast, but you not getting away a second time. Gatsuga. Kiba yelled and they both started up again, heading toward Naruto. They seem to hit Naruto but then veer off course and each land on the opposite side of the blonde. What's going on? I know I hit you. Kiba said. I might as well tell you what's going on. You see, the clones I sent were just a mere diversion to stall you so I can create a new technique in order to help me move. Naruto said. You just now created a new technique? Kiba asked. Yes, and I call this one Fuden. Tenkaizu no Jutsu, Wind Element, Heavenly Wind Body Technique. By basically emitting my chakra around me and then adding my wind affinity to convert it to wind, my whole body becomes controlled by the wind and I simply have to tell the wind a command and it will do it, basically like how a puppet is controlled by the strings of its puppet master. So for the first attacks, I simply wanted to move out of the way and the wind carried my body at high speeds away from you. For the last attack, I simply had the wind knock your attack away by using a wind current. It's pretty complicated but I believe the actions justifies the explanations. Naruto explained, leaving everyone shocked on how he could devise such a technique in a short amount of time. I see now. Basically, he uses the wind as a replacement for his body in order to continue to fight without being slowed down by his injuries. Incredible. Kakashi said. But the level of that jutsu, it's easily A class and yet he came up with it in less than a minute. He's truly amazing. Kurenai said in awe. Like Kakashi said, Kurenai-chan, he really takes after his old man. Asuma smirked. I don't care what that technique does, I can still beat you. Kiba said and then started up his Gatsuga again, but when they were getting closer to Naruto, one of them decided to go behind Naruto in order to attack. He's trying to attack me from both sides. Naruto thought as he realized Kiba's plan. Try to deflect this. Kiba yelled out. Tatsumaki. Naruto whispered and then a twister sprung from underneath him and ed Kiba and Akamaru in, cutting them all over before dropping them to the ground. Akamaru then returned to its original form. He countered both at the same time with one move. I knew Naruto was good with ninjutsu, but this is unreal. Shikamaru said. Namikaze Naruto, if your father and mother were here to see you, they would have been very proud of you. The Hokage said. Kiba tried to get back up, but then Naruto had his hand pointed to him. Give up now, Kiba, or else I will attack. Naruto said sternly, causing the Inuzuka boy to gulp. When he saw his animal partner down for the count, Kiba knew he stood no chance against Naruto. Proctor, I give up. Kiba said. If that is the case, then the winner of this match is Namikaze Naruto. Hayate said. Alright, Naruto-kun. Sakura and Anko both said at the same time, causing them to glare and growl at each other, earning a sweat drop from everyone. That Naruto, he sure had me worried. Sasuke smirked. That guy is strong, no wonder he survived against Gaara. Kankuro told Tamari, who nodded in agreement. Namikaze Naruto, killing you will truly be an exhilarating pleasure. Gaara thought. Meanwhile, Kabuto and Orochimaru were outside the arena where the preliminaries took place. What? The curse seal failed. But that's impossible, it's absolutely flawless, Orochimaru-sama. Kabuto said in disbelief. I know, but someone did and I want to know who. Kabuto, did you see anyone with Sasuke? Orochimaru asked. No sir, I was the only one that was with them. Kabuto replied. This is throwing a wrench into my plans. I cannot let this go unpunished. Orochimaru growled. Yar days. Looks like we have an angry snake here. A voice said, and Kabuto and Orochimaru turned only to see Kyo standing near a tree. You. Orochimaru growled. It's been a while, little Orochimaru. Kyo grinned as he walked up to them. Who is this man, Orochimaru-sama? I can feel tremendous chakra coming from him. Kabuto asked. That man is none other than the one the legends call the Blue Dragon. His name is Uchiha Kyo, the brother of Uchiha Madara. Orochimaru said. Now little Orochimaru, we need to have a little talk. Kyo glared with his dragon-like Sharingan flaring. Who is this Uchiha Kyo and what does an Orochimaru have to talk about? Also, who will fight next in the preliminaries? Find out in the next chapter called, Destinies and Tragedies. Yar days. Looks like we have an angry snake here. A voice said, and Kabuto and Orochimaru turned only to see Kyo standing near a tree. You. Orochimaru growled. It's been a while, little Orochimaru. Kyo grinned as he walked up to them. Who is this man, Orochimaru-sama? I can feel tremendous chakra coming from him. Kabuto asked. That man is none other than the one the legends call the Blue Dragon. His name is Uchiha Kyo, the brother of Uchiha Madara. Orochimaru said. Now little Orochimaru, we need to have a little talk. Kyo glared with his dragon-like Sharingan flaring. Namikaze Hokage. Chapter 10. Destinies and Tragedies. He's the brother of the founder of the Uchiha clan. But that makes no sense. How can he still be alive and look so young? Kabuto asked. Yo, Orochimaru, tell the little baby to get lost. I don't have time to meddle with babies. Kyo said with a glare. Sorry, but I'm Orochimaru's servant and thus my responsibility to be by his side no matter what. Kabuto said, taking out a kunai in case of combat, but then suddenly, he clutched his heart and fell to his knees. What is going on? I feel like my body is being crushed. Is he doing this simply by using his Sharingan? Kabuto asked mentally. Like I said, I don't have to meddle with babies. Besides, you're 100 years too early in order to stand up to me, boy, so get lost. Kyo said with his Sharingan flaring. Kabuto, leave us, Orochimaru said. Kabuto, not wanting to stay one more second, left using Shunshin. So, what do you want to talk to me about? Orochimaru asked, a bit nervous. Kyo simply smiled and then reappeared behind Orochimaru. I saw that you tried to make Sasuke your new pet by giving that curse seal, Orochimaru. Kyo said. Of course, He is after all going to be very important to me in the near future. And I guess you're the one that got rid of it, didn't you? Orochimaru asked with a smirk. My, you've gotten a lot smarter than the last time we've met, but it seems your greed hasn't subsided yet. Listen and listen closely. A dragon can only be controlled by another dragon. If someone other than a dragon tries to control a dragon, then they will be devoured by the said dragon. Why do you think that the dragon is revered as the strongest mythical animal ever in legends and other cultures? It is because it has no equal. Only God is stronger than a dragon, thus a small insignificant snake like you will never be able to control the dragon, and since Sasuke is a dragon, you will never be able to get him in your clutches. Kyo explained. And how can you be sure? In case you've forgotten, he is an avenger and lives only to seek revenge. Orochimaru countered. He's not an avenger anymore, I made sure of that. Besides, he lives for more than just petty revenge. He represents the rebirth of the Uchiha clan and also the dragon that will slay the corrupted dragon of darkness and give birth to a new Uchiha clan. Kyo said. You mean your brother? I can't believe you actually believe that prophecy, but then again, you're the one that failed to kill your brother all those years and thus set all of this in motion, isn't that right, Kyo-kun? Orochimaru said, but then quickly regretted as Kyo grabbed his neck and started to crush it. Where do you get off talking to me as if we're equals, Orochimaru? It seems you have forgotten the beating I gave you last time. Would you want me to remind you? Orochimaru, Kyo said, and when the snake Sanin shook his head in fear, Kyo let go of his neck. I thought so. Anyway, Sasuke will never become your pet no matter what you do because he belongs to me and his destiny will be fulfilled. The world doesn't have time for your fruitless ambitions of power and grandeur anymore, Orochimaru. It needs peace and stability, and both Uchiha Sasuke and Namikaze Naruto will provide the peace and stability that this world needs. Kyo said. What? Minato had a son? Orochimaru exclaimed. You didn't know? Yes, Minato has a son, and his son is the one the other prophecy calls the Yang, the one that will unleash a wind of peace and prosperity throughout the 5 elemental countries by defeating the yin of the red clouds. Kyo smirked. However, if you feel like fighting against destiny, then by all means do so, but remember this, no one can escape their destiny. In one form or another, our destinies will happen, and his will happen because, like I said, no one can control a dragon except for a dragon, and if a small snake like you tries to do, then you will end up dying in the process. Until next time, Orochimaru. Kyo said, and then disappeared. Uchiha Kyo, you may be stronger than me, but you have forgotten that I am extremely resourceful. I do not care how I do it or what destiny he may have, Uchiha Sasuke will be mine. Orochimaru said. Kyo reappears in a forest where the woman in cloak from the forest of death was waiting. Ohio, Shina-chan. Kyo grinned but then earned a bonk on the head from the girl. Don't call me Shina-chan. Shina growled. Shina-chan, you're so mean. Kyo said, with fake tears flowing out. So Kyo, why didn't you kill Orochimaru? You could have done it easily and saved us a bunch of trouble. Shina asked. You're right, I could have, but if there is one thing I have learned, it is to never mess with destiny and its plans. It's destined for Orochimaru to meddle in the affairs of the leaf, and I cannot go against it, or else everything else will be in disarray. One should not dare to go against destiny, or else they will reap a horrible judgment. Shina, or should I call you Uzumaki Shina, younger sister of Uzumaki Kushina and also the aunt of Namikaze Naruto. Kyo smirked as he took out a cigarette and started to smoke. Besides, everything will be alright since the pieces for the future have already started to grow. Kyo added. I hope you're right, Kyo, I hope you're right. Shina said. By the way, when are you going to visit your nephew? Kyo asked. I don't know yet. He looks so much like his mother and father. I don't know if I'm ready to face him after not doing so all those years. Shina said with a saddened look on her face. I'm sure it will be okay. Kyo smiled. I'm sure you're right. Shina smiled back. Meanwhile, back in the exams, Naruto was back with his team up in the stands, being healed by Sakura. Naruto-kun, I'm sorry I didn't heal you properly. Maybe if I had healed you better, maybe you wouldn't be in this shape. Sakura said sadly. It's okay Sakura-chan, it wasn't your fault and besides, you are healing me now and I couldn't ask for anything more. Naruto said with a foxy grin. Arigato, Naruto-kun. Sakura said. Naruto, that Gaara guy, is he truly worse than Zabuza? Kakashi asked, not believing that such a genin can be that terrifying. Just wait until he fights then you will see. Naruto simply said. Back in the battle floor, Kiba was put in the stretcher by medic Nins when Hinata suddenly came toward him with a something in a small bottle. You fought well Kiba-kun, I am very proud of you. Here, take some of this ointment I made. Hinata said with a smile. Kiba better not try anything stupid with Hinata or I'll castrate him. Sasuke thought as he looked at the interaction between Kiba and his girl. I mean Hinata. Arigato Hinata, but you should start worrying about yourself. Kiba grinned through the pain. What do you mean? Hinata asked. Look at the remaining participants. The only ones left are you, that guy from the sand, Choji, that guy from sound, and Neji. I don't know much about the others but if you end up fighting Neji, just give up. Kiba advised his teammate. But I can't. Hinata said. You have to. Hinata. I know how much you've improved but Neji won't fight you fair and square, he will kill you. Please, Hinata, if you do face him, just give up before it's too late. Kiba pleaded, not wanting his friend to get hurt. Now, we'll announce the next match. Hayate said followed by a cough. The next two names were Hyuga Hinata versus Hyuga Neji. Damn. Kiba cursed under his breath. Hinata. Kurenai thought. This should be an interesting matchup. The Hokage thought. Hinata. I never thought I would be fighting you. Neji said. Neji Nissan. Hinata said. Wait. They're siblings? Naruto asked. They are members of the Leaf's oldest and most prestigious clan, the Hyuga clan. But they're not exactly siblings. Kakashi explained. Then what are they? Sakura asked. They are members of the main house and branch house of the Hyuga clan. Hinata is in the main house and Neji is in the branch house. Those in the main house rule over those in the branch house, thus making them more like cousins. Sasuke said out of nowhere, earning a confused look from everyone. How do you all know this, Sasuke? Kakashi asked. Intrigued. I read about it in the library. Yep, that's right, I read all about it there. Sasuke said and started to laugh nervously. Or maybe you're dating Hyuga Hinata and she told you about it. Bah, who am I kidding, I forgot that you're a homo. Naruto said, causing the Uchiha to be enraged and lash out at him, only to be bonked by Sakura. Stop it Sasuke. Naruto is injured and you Naruto, stop provoking Sasuke. Sakura said, reprimanding both boys. Sasuke is right but many things have happened over the years between both houses and right now, they do get along very well. Lee added. That probably has to do with the fact that the branch house has to protect the main house at the cost of their own lives, probably creates a lot of resentment among the two houses. Sasuke said. Now, let the match begin. Hayate said as the two combatants were already on the floor. Hinata, you should give up now, you're too weak. Neji said, and then added on, I know you've been training very hard to improve yourself but in the end, it will never matter because there will always exist an irrefutable gap between your skill level and my skill level. All of us are born with different skill levels, levels that indicate how proficient a ninja will become. Let's look at the last fight for example. It was obvious that the Namikaze was born with a higher skill level than the Inuzuka and despite all of the efforts of the Inuzuka boy, in the end Naruto won because he had the stronger skill level and thus a gap between those two existed. And the same goes for you and I, there's a gap that you can never overcome and this is why you will always lose against me. It's not fate, it's reality. Neji said. Even if there was no gap, You still wouldn't make a good shinobi, Hinata-sama. Do you want to know why? Neji asked the girl. Why is he berating her so much? Sakura said. You're too kind, you wish for harmony and will do anything to avoid conflict. Furthermore, you have no self-confidence. You even only took this exam only in order for your teammates to take it as well, since the Chunin exam can only be taken in teams of 3. You couldn't turn down your teammates' request in the end, could you? Neji asked. You're wrong, Neji-Nisan. I took this exam willingly so I can prove my strength to others, to show that I am not the little girl anymore, to anyone, especially you. Hinata said with stern eyes. That's the way to say it, Hinata. Sasuke cheered, but then quickly calmed down when everyone looked at him. Ha, 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 ha. Neji laughed. Why is he laughing for? Naruto asked. Ha, 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 ha. I never believed that you, Hinata-sama, would be this foolish. You really think you can prove anything with that minuscule strength of yours? Don't be so naive, this isn't a world where you can overcome everything through sheer willpower. There is a gap that always exists between individuals, and one who is ignorant of that gap is a fool, and that is why you are a fool, Hinata. Neji said. Why are you saying this? Why can't I be strong? Hinata asked. Because it is the truth, Hinata, the irrefutable truth. Why do you think there are victors and losers in battles? That is because there was a gap that existed between both warriors, a gap that one could not overcome. Even if you were to train for 10 years, all I will have to do is train for 5 and I would still be stronger, and that is reality, Hinata, and it's time for you to wake up and realize it. Neji glared. Shut the hell up, Hinata. Don't let that get to you, he doesn't know what's he talking about. Sasuke roared. You should shut your mouth and stay out of your business if you know what's good for you, Uchiha. Neji said. What did you say? Sasuke growled. You heard me. After all those training sessions you and Lee took with Guy-sensei, and yet neither one of you can even beat me. That is the proof that the gap exists and that I am right, and your fantasies of overcoming obstacles through sheer will is truly a fantasy. However, Hinata-sama, if you want to continue, then by all means I will not turn down this challenge, as I will be more than happy to show you the gap between you and I. Neji smirked and then activated his Byakugan. Why you? Sasuke growled as he was getting mad, and so was Lee, who ended up clenching his fists to hold his anger. Then I will show that I have become strong. Hinata said. Hinata. Kurenai thought. Flashback. Stand Hanabi. Hyuga Hiyashi said to his youngest daughter. Hiyashi-sama, I was instructed to take Hinata under my wings. As you know, she will face many situations where death is possible, and I wanted to. Kurenai started to say. Take her. The Hyuga have no need for someone who is even weaker than someone 5 years her junior in terms of abilities. Now, leave, you're in the way. Hiyashi said coldly. Kurenai stepped outside, and then Hinata was by the door, crying as she heard everything her father said. End flashback. But since then, Hinata has constantly tried to become stronger and thus has changed. She is no longer the timid girl she used to be. Kurenai thought with a hint of pride. Sasuke-kun is right, Neji doesn't know what he is talking about. I have become stronger and I will prove it. Hinata said mentally as she activated her Byakugan and got into a strange stance, and so did Neji. What kind of stance is that? I've never seen it before. Naruto asked. This stance belongs to the Leaf's strongest taijutsu Ryu, the Jiyuken. Lee said. Both siblings started to exchange open palm strikes at each other, each blocking and attacking the other. Hinata then struck Neji, pushing him back. Did she get him? Sakura asked. No, it wasn't deep enough. Naruto said. No, just a slight touch is enough, Naruto-kun. That's what makes the Hyuga clan so great. Lee said, correcting Naruto. What do you mean? Sakura asks. The Hyuga clan have a very special taijutsu ryu that has been passed down. The taijutsu that Lee, and Sasuke use is a style that specializes in delivering hard external blows in order to break the opponent's bones. However, the style that the Hyuga clan uses, the Jukenryu, is a style that focuses on delivering internal damage, destroying the inner organs of the opponent. It may not look impressive, but you'll feel it afterwards. Guy explains. And because one cannot train their internal body, it can be a critical hit for even the toughest guy. Kakashi said. Back in the fight, Hinata was starting to press down on Neji. Hinata is in control, Shino thought. Come on Hinata, you can do it girl. Sakura yelled. However, to be able to attack the inner coil system of the opponent, where chakra travels through so close to the organs and can also damage organs, just who the heck are those guys? Better yet, how is it even possible to do such a thing when the inner coils are invisible to the eye? Naruto asked. That's because they possess the Byakugan, the Dujutsu eye technique, that allows them to see through an opponent's body and thus see their inner coils. And also, the attacks of the Jukenryu are different from a normal attack. It's almost like what I taught you back in Wave about chakra control. They basically release chakra from their palms into the opponent's body and thus damaging their inner coil system directly. Kakashi said. Then, Hinata struck Neji in the gut, or so it would seem, but then she coughed out blood. Her heart started to get crushed, and in reality, Neji had struck her in the heart as he had grabbed her arm before she struck. Hinata pushed Neji's other arm out of the way and tried to strike him, but Neji was able to grab it and strike underneath it. Neji then showed Hinata that he had sealed all of the chakra points in her arm. So, from the beginning, Hinata gasped in disbelief. That's right, my eyes can see the opening points. Neji said. The opening points? Naruto asked. Above the inner coil system exists 361 chakra points, also known as opening points, and if you press them accurately, you can either increase the flow of chakra or shut it off. Basically do whatever you want. And another thing, to be frankly speaking, neither me or Sasuke's Sharingan can see those points. Kakashi explained. Neji smirked and then struck Hinata with an open palm attack, knocking the girl down. Now, do you see it? Do you see the gap between you and I, the gap that you can never hope to overcome no matter how hard you tried? This is the true reality that exists in this world, and your failure of realizing it has led to this. Now forfeit. Neji said. I can't. I can never give up while he's watching me fight. Hinata said as she struggled to get back up. Sasuke-kun, it's because of you that I've changed. Flashback, 2 years ago. Hinata was training in one of the many training grounds in Konoha by herself, hitting the dummy post. Hey, that's my post. Sasuke said as he arrived. Gee. Gomen, Sasuke-kun. Hinata apologized. It's alright. Wait a minute, you're that cute girl that always stares at me during class, right? Sasuke grinned. Gee. Gomen Nasai. Hinata with a massive blush on her face as she realizes that she was caught. Works every time. Sasuke grinned mentally as he saw the girl blush. Anyway, I've never seen you here before. Are you coming just now? Sasuke asked. Why? Yes, I am. I wanted to train in order to become stronger. Hinata said. Oh really? Well, I like to use this post at the same time as you do, so guess what? How about we train together? You become my sparring partner. Sasuke asked. Train together? But I don't think it would be such a good idea. Besides, I would only slow you down. Hinata said, but then blushed when Sasuke lifted her chin up with his hands. We won't know until we try now, will we? Besides, I don't mind training with a cute girl like you. Sasuke said, inches to her face. This caused Hinata to blush even more and faint. Hey, Hinata-chan. Sasuke said as he tried to wake her up. Ever since that day, Sasuke-kun and I trained together, and for the first time since the death of my mother, I felt happiness in my heart. With Sasuke-kun, I could be myself and I had someone that truly cared about me and that would always help me when I need him. That's why I started to change because for the first time in my life, I finally found someone very dear and precious to me. End flashback. And this is why I will never give up. Hinata yelled mentally. Hinata rushed at Neji and tried to hit him only to be struck in the gut by Neji's palm attack and falls to the floor. Hinata. Sasuke yelled. Now do you see the futility of all this? Proctor. Call the match, she's not getting, huh? Neji began to say, but then his eyes widened as he saw Hinata stand back up again. Why must you go on with this? WHT are you trying to prove? Neji asked. I am trying to prove that you're the one who's wrong, Neji, the one who's foolish. As long as one has the will to do so, they can become stronger and overcome all obstacles just like I did. I got much stronger than before because I trained and believed in myself that I could overcome all obstacles, and that is something you will never, Neji-Nisan, because you are too blind to see the truth. Hinata said, breathing hard. Why, you little bitch? Neji growled and then headed straight for Hinata in order to kill her, but then was stopped by Kurenai, Kakashi, Guy, and Hayate. Neji, you gave me your word that you would control your emotions when dealing with the main house. Guy said. So, does the main house get special treatment in the exams as well? Neji growled. Then, Hinata's heart started to complicate again and she fell to the ground, coughing blood. Hinata. Kurenai said. Hinata. Sasuke said and jumped down, followed by Lee and Sakura while Naruto while still resting his injuries. It looks like you were wrong, Sasuke. She is still weak and there is still a gap that exists between me and her. Neji said. Neji, you've just made a big mistake. Sasuke said, glaring at the Hyuga. Oh, and what are you going to do about it? Neji asked with a smirk. Crush you in the finals, that's what. Sasuke smirked back, pointing his fist to Neji. Neji scoffed and then went back up. The last two fights were total opposites of each other. The last one was between Dosu and Choji, and even though the young Akamichi was fired up, he was easily defeated by the sound ninja who used the Akamichi's meat tank technique to his advantage by using his vibrations. The one before it was a tragedy like the one with Hinata and Neji. Lee put on a display by not only bypassing Gaara's defenses using sheer speed, which helped Naruto concoct a plan to defeat the sand ninja, and was even able to wound the boy. Lee even was able to open all 5 gates in order to perform the ultimate move, the Ura-Renge. But hellas, it was all for naught as Gaara survived all of the onslaught and ended up crushing Lee's arm and leg using his Sabaku Susu technique and was about to finish him off when Guy intervened, stopping the match and give the victory to Gaara. But what was worse is that the medics told Guy that thanks to Gaara's attack, Lee would never be able to continue as a ninja. This came as a shock to all as they came to respect the bushy brow's hard work and taijutsu skills. But the show had to move on as the winners of the matches soon assembled on the arena floor. Congratulations on passing the preliminaries. If you would all come and draw a number from this box, Hayate said and indicated to a box Anko was holding. After the 9 finalists had drawn their numbers, each told Ibiki their number. He then scribbled something down on a note of paper. When he finished, he held it out for everyone to see. This is the matchup of the main matches, which will be a tournament, Ibiki said. Take a good look at the lineup. First match. Uchiha Sasuke vs. Hyuga Neji. Upon hearing that, both boys smirked evilly. Second match. Aburame Shino vs. Sabaku no Kankuro. Third match. Sabaku no Tamari vs. Nara Shikamaru. Fourth match. Namikaze Naruto vs. Sabaku no Gaara. Naruto thought. Namikaze Naruto. Gaara thought. Fifth match. Dosu Kinuta will challenge one of the 4 remaining fighters. You have a month to train before the main matches, Hokage said. I suggest you use that time well. Why a month? Shikamaru asked. Because we have to send out invitations for everyone who has to be here to witness the exam, Hokage replied. The judges will decide who becomes Chunins and not. Judges? Naruto asked. In this exam, the Hokage began to explain, the ones who get promoted to Chunins are those that show the judges that they have the qualities of a Chunin. A ninja's true strength can only be measured in combat, and that's the purpose of the main matches. Judges are made up of important people from the villages, including the daimyo of the different countries. The second exam is finished, Anko barked, meet in the main arena in a month. Dismissed. Well then, I think it's about time I got to start training my dragon. Kyo said on top of a roof and then disappeared. Sasuke was finished eating his breakfast when the doorbell rang. Who is it? Sasuke asked. It's me, Kyo, open up. Kyo said. What do you want? Sasuke asked as he opened the door only to be knocked back by a jumping roundhouse kick courtesy of Uchiha Kyo, basically the kick Ichigo's dad gave Ichigo in the first episode. What the hell was that? Sasuke yelled as he got back up. A ninja must always be on alert every second of the day wherever they are, Sasuke. Kyo said with a stupid grin on his face. Alert my ass. You just wanted to kick me in the face, didn't you? Why can't you ever be normal for once? Sasuke barked back. How dare you think I would stoop so low? I was only trying to teach you an important lesson, my young apprentice. Kyo said. You're so full of crap, Kyo. Why are you here anyway? Sasuke said. Glad you asked, my young friend. I'm here because I'm going to be training you for your finals match. Kyo said with a grin. Oh me. Sasuke cursed, shocking Kyo. How could you say such things after all the training I gave you? Kyo said shocked. You called that crap training? That wasn't training, it was torture. You made me wear coals in my shoes, stay in a forest full of wolves for a week, made me climb mountains with hands tied behind my back, and even made me go into the hot springs so I can take pictures of women, and that was when I was just 8 years old. Even Guy trained me better than you. Sasuke yelled. True, but you see, I knew you would take the Chunin exams back then, and thus this is why I made you go into such a rigorous training. Kyo said in know-it-all tone. How the heck can you possibly know something like that when I was just 8? Sasuke asked. Because Sasuke, my Sharingan allows me to see into the world of tomorrow. Kyo said with a dramatic voice, but the only thing that happened was a dust cloud coming through. That's it, I'm outta here. Sasuke said and then started to leave. Oh well, too bad. I was going to teach you the Uchiha clan's own unique taijutsu Ryu that has only been mastered by a few and is said to be even on par with the Ryukenryu. Such a shame that you won't let me teach it to you. Kyo said in a disappointed tone. I will do whatever you wish, my master. Sasuke said as he returned and bowed to Kyo. All right then, young grasshopper, let the torture. I mean training begin. Kyo said in a dramatic pose. I am so screwed, Sasuke said mentally. Meanwhile, Naruto was walking down the streets of Konoha, reflecting on what has happened so far, including his battle with Gaara. Sabaku no Gaara. He's a monster that has to be stopped, but how? He's the same as me, a Jinchuriki, and I never fought another Jinchuriki before. And then, even speed and power aren't enough since even Lee couldn't beat him. What am I supposed to do? Naruto asked as he was talking to himself. Why are you so worried about that kid? Yeah, he's a Jinchuriki, but he's the container of the Ikibi Shukaku, while you're the container of yours truly, Kyuubi, the nine-tailed fox. Kyuubi said. What's your point, Kyuubi? Naruto asked. Let me explain something to you. For us Bijus, the number of tails indicate how much power each of us has. 9 is the strongest and 1 is the weakest. Now, do the math. Kyuubi explained. So you're saying that Gaara has the weakest Biju out of the 9. So your chakra is stronger than his tailed beasts? Naruto asked. Bingo. So like I said, don't worry about that kid, Kit. If you get in trouble, just call on my chakra and we'll crush that vermin. And oh by the way, You're being followed, Kyuubi said. What? Naruto said and then turned and saw Shina, with her cloak on, a few feet behind him. Who are you and why are you following me? Naruto asked. I can't do this. Shina thought upon and then turned to run away, but Naruto used Shunshin to appear in front of her and grabbed her arm. Answer me. Who are you and why are you following me? Naruto asked angrily. I guess I have no choice. I hope you're right, Kyo. Shina thought and then took off her hood and revealed a girl in her late 20s with long brown hair and deep blue eyes. My name is Shina, Uzumaki Shina, and I'm your aunt, Naruto. Shina said. My aunt, Naruto repeated, shocked. Yes, your mother was my older sister, Uzumaki Kushina. Shina said and tears started to come out as she continued, Naruto, I'm so sorry. I should have been there for you when you were all alone, visited before, but I just couldn't bring myself to, and I'm sorry, I really am. Shina said. It's okay, Auntie, it's okay. It wasn't your fault, and besides, I've grown a lot. Just you showing up means a lot to me. Naruto said with a smile as he hugged her. Naruto. Shina said, surprised at the boy's reaction. So, how was my mom like? Naruto asked as he and Shina were walking. She was pretty fiery and energetic but could also be a very sweet and gentle lady. She always cared for people and would do whatever it took to help them out. That's why she loved your father so much, because he cared so much about others. Shina answered. I see. Another question, what does the land of Whirlpool looks like compared to Konoha? Naruto asked. Well, it's not as grand as here, but it's a very nice place to live in, and we Uzumakis all our lives. Kushina was the first Uzumaki to have lived out of the land of Whirlpool. Shina said. I see. I'll think I'll visit this land as soon as I become Hokage and revive my dad's clan. Naruto said. Wait, you want to become Hokage and revive your dad's clan? Shina asked. Of course. By becoming Hokage, I will be able to protect my precious people and provide peace for this land, and reviving my dad's clan is something very important to me. Naruto said. I remember, your dad was the last of his clan which was wiped out years ago. Shina said. Naruto, he's just like his parents after all. She thought. Pervert. A couple of female voices yelled and then a man with large white hair fell from the sky to the ground near Naruto and Shina. That was weird, Naruto said with a sweat drop behind his head. Wait a minute, I know that guy, Shina said. Ouch. Those girls can sure kick, the man said as he got back up and then saw the two relatives staring at him. Wait a minute, is it you, Shina? It is you, beautiful Shina-chan. The man said, only to get kicked in the jewels by Shina. Why? He groaned. Don't you dare call me that, Aro Senin. Shina growled. Aro Senin, Naruto repeated. I told you not to call me that, Shina. My name is Jiraiya. Jiraiya said. Jiraiya, as in one of the three legendary Sanins? Naruto asked. Yes, that's right, and you are? Jiraiya asked as he's never seen Naruto before. My name is Namikaze Naruto. Naruto simply said. Namikaze Naruto, so you're his son? Oh my, you've grown so much. Jiraiya said. Wait a minute, you mean you knew my dad? Naruto asked. Of course I did, I after all did teach him. Jiraiya said with pride. I don't believe you. Naruto said deadpanned. Nani? You don't believe me, but I did train your dad, honest. Jiraiya said. I don't believe it because I doubt my dad would have learned anything from a pervert like you. Naruto said. I forgot, I didn't properly introduce myself. From all of the great lands in this world, there exists one man that strikes in the fear of the evildoers. A man so powerful that even Kami trembles upon hearing his name. A man that has no equal, a man that makes all the women scream and faint upon hearing just a syllable of his name. That man is me, Jiraiya, the legendary and powerful Toad Sanin. Now, at my awesomeness. Jiraiya said as he finished introducing himself in a dramatic pose. That actually makes you look less impressive. Naruto said, causing Jiraiya to fall to the ground. He may be a pervert, but he did in fact train your father, Naruto. Shina said. In fact, I can teach you one of your father's greatest jutsus. Jiraiya said. Really? Naruto asked, now interested. Yes, but since you're not impressed me, I will not teach it to you any longer, unless, Jiraiya said as he tried to trap the boy. What is it? I'll do anything. Naruto asked. You will have to do a perilous mission for me. Jiraiya said with a serious look on his face. What kind of mission? Naruto asked. Your mission will be, to find me a babe. Jiraiya said with a perverted grin, causing Naruto to fall to the ground. Once a pervert, always a pervert. Shina thought with a sweat drop. This is ridiculous. Are you being serious? Naruto asked irritated. I am, young one, and until you do find one, I will not teach you your father's jutsu. Jiraiya said. Oh well, one must do great sacrifices to gain what they desire. Can't believe I'll have to use this stupid technique. Henge. Naruto said and then transformed. Once the transformation was finished, in place of Naruto stood a tall, blonde girl with pigtails, whisker marks on her face, blue eyes, an impressive rack and extremely attractive pair of legs, and both her S and privates were covered in smoke. Is this good enough, Jiraiya-sama? The female asked with a wink. Naruto, how could you? Shina said, appalled. Sweet Kami, this is the most beautiful thing I have seen in my life. Now, I can finally die happy. Matt, hold it right there for just a second. Jiraiya said with tears as he then took out a sketchbook and a pencil. Now keep this form while I draw it for my next masterpiece. Jiraiya said while laughing lecherously. Absolutely not. Naruto said and transformed back. I gave you your babe, now you teach me that technique. Naruto said. Okay, I'll teach you. You're just like your father, can never appreciate the art of the female body. Jiraiya said. Okay, first off, what jutsus have you mastered so far? And by the way, why are you still here, Shina? Jiraiya asked as they were now near a waterfall. I am here to make sure you don't corrupt his mind with your filth. Shina growled. Well, let's see. I know Henge, Bushin, Kage Bushin, Semi, Kawarini, Fuden, Kase Haotoshi, Fuden, Shippuden, Kase Yeba, Fuden, Dai Tatsumaki, Fuden, Rokujiu Kase Ha, Fuden, Tenkazdu, Tatsumaki. Naruto said. My god, not many kids his age don't even nearly that many jutsus. Impressive. Okay, now, let me show you that technique of your father. Jiraiya said. He then walks up to a tree and then concentrates his chakra and then a blue ball of chakra formed in his hand and then used it to smash through the tree, blowing it up. No way. Naruto said. That, my boy, is your father's Rasengan. It is a technique that demands the highest of chakra control and why it took him 3 years to master it. Jiraiya said. 3 years? Naruto repeated. Yep. Hold on a sec, I'll be right back. Jiraiya said and then left. He then came back minutes later with a couple of water balloons and a stack of rubber balls. What are those for? Naruto asked. Those are tools that will help you learn the Rasengan. You see, this jutsu has 3 different steps that must be taught before using it. The first step emphasizes rotation, and what you have to do is simply summon your chakra and use it to make the water spin in many directions, eventually popping the balloon. The second step emphasizes power and you basically have to do step 1 but this time with a denser rubber ball. The third and final step is simply combining rotation and power to create the Rasengan and thus emphasizes control. Did you get it all that? Jiraiya asked after explaining. Got it. Kage Bushin no Justu. Naruto said and then 10 clones spawned. Okay guys, here's the plan. You 5 on the right will work on the first step while you other 5 will work on the second step. Naruto said and the clones nodded before getting to work. Wait, You know the secret behind that technique already? Jiraiya asked, shocked. Yeah, Sarutobi Gigi told me about it when he showed me this technique. Naruto answered. Oh, I see. So the old man's still kicking, I see. Jiraiya grins. How do you know the Hokage? Naruto asked. I know him because I was his student. Jiraiya grinned. No wonder. Both of you are mega perverts. Naruto said, causing Jiraiya to growl in embarrassment and Shina to giggle. Haruno residence. Sakura was getting dressed in her room when she suddenly heard a knock on the door. Sakura dear, are you busy? I need to talk to you. Her mother said behind the door. No, I'm not, Mom, you can come inside. Sakura said. The door and a woman in her 30s with shorter pink hair than Sakura, black eyes, and wearing a black shirt with gray skirt entered the room. What did you want to talk to me about, Mother? Sakura asked. Your sensei came by yesterday and told me that you made it to the preliminaries of the third stage and that you showed amazing skills in your draw with your friend Ino. Sakura's mother, Akira, said. He did? Sakura asked. Yes, and he also told me some other details. Akira said. What other details? Sakura asked. He told me that you told your friend that I hated you and that you ruined my life. Is that true, Sakura? Akira asked. Yes, it is, Mother. Sakura replied. Sakura, why would you say such things? I don't hate and I never thought you've ruined my life. Akira said. Well, it's kind of hard not to believe that considering that because of me, you had to quit your kunoichi career and thus quit your dreams of becoming an Anbu captain, and on top of that, you've said you hate me a couple of times before and how I was a mistake. Sakura with closed eyes to keep the tears from coming out. I know I haven't been the best mother, but none of this is your fault. I should have been a better mother to you, be there for you, but I just didn't know how to handle it. I was afraid and angry as well, but over the years, the only thing I have been proud of was you. The way you've grown into a strong kunoichi has made me so proud of you, Sakura, and I wouldn't trade it for a thing. So please, don't think that I hate you or that you've ruined my life, because you haven't. In fact, you're the best thing that has ever happened in my life, Akira says with a soft look on her face. Sakura couldn't take it anymore and ran to her mother, hugging her and crying. Oh Mother, I'm so happy you don't hate me. I hated myself for making you quit your dreams, and I just wanted you to be proud of me. Sakura said. I already am, Sakura-chan, I already am. Akira said. Well, I have to start working in the hospital again. So I'll see you later, Mom. Sakura said as she wiped her tears and then left. Finally, I have my daughter back. Akira smiled. Back with Naruto, the clones were still hard at work with the first 2 steps. So Shina, have you heard of Kyo yet? Jiraiya asked as he and the Uzumaki girl were supervising Naruto's training. Yes, I have. In fact, he's here, probably training Sasuke. Shina answered. I see. Good thing I'm teaching Naruto his dad's jutsu. He is also a very important piece of the future. No, the most important piece of the future, and not just that, but his adversary foretold in the prophecies is even worse than Sasuke's. Jiraiya said. That can't be. Uchiha Madara is pure evil. There can't be someone worse than him. Shina said. But there is a man, from what I've heard, he's worse than Madara. To put it bluntly, he is the devil himself, evil incarnated in its purest form possible. Jiraiya said. Masaka. Shina said in disbelief. They say he is ruthless, sadistic, psychotic, and pure evil. He kills simply for the pure thrill of it, and he doesn't just kill you, he kills everyone that your existence has affected, your family, your friends, even your village. You heard what he did to the Namikaze clan of the Shippu Hurricane village, didn't you? Jiraiya asked. I did. The Namikaze clan, the strongest clan in the hidden village in the hurricane and the strongest in all of the lands, destroyed in a single night except for one young boy, Namikaze Minato. They said that the one responsible even destroyed the entire village. Shina said as she recalled hearing the news about it. Yeah, and from what I've heard, He has never lost a single battle, not even coming close to, and has killed everyone that has faced him. Those that survived were later hunted down relentlessly and brutally killed, and anyone that they met on their way were also killed. Jiraiya continued to explain. Do you know his name, Jiraiya? Shina asked, terrified. His name is Pain, the leader of Akatsuki. Jiraiya said. Akatsuki? Shina asked. Yeah, they are a group of 9S class ninjas that hunt down whatever they want. They are currently in pursuit of the tailed beasts, and since Naruto is one, that makes him a target, and on top of that, Pain is their leader, so that proves to be extremely troublesome. Jiraiya said. Naruto. Shina said, saddened by what her nephew will have to face. Don't worry, I'll make sure I train him in order to be ready for when they make their move. Jiraiya said. So, have you guys been able to figure it out? Naruto asked his clones. Not yet, Aniki. This jutsu is tough and we're starting to get exhausted. One of the clones said. I see, I knew it wouldn't be easy. Alright, I'll cancel the jutsu so that way I can get the information from you guys. Naruto said, and the clones nodded. He then cancelled the jutsu and all of the information rushed into his brain. I see. This is definitely much harder than it looks, but if my father could do it, so can I. Naruto said, and then picked up the water balloon in order to try to do the first step. Damn it, I just can't keep the chakra in a fixed point for me to spin it properly. What kind of jutsu is this? Naruto said mentally as he struggled with the first step. In one of the training grounds, Sasuke was training, or rather, getting his kicked by Uchiha Kyo. Damn it, that fighting style he mentioned is no joke. It's like he's reading my mind. Sasuke growled mentally as he tried to hit Kyo with everything, but it was as if Kyo was always one step ahead no matter what. Had enough, Sasuke. Kyo grinned. How in the world are you doing this? Even with using my Sharingan to help my perception, I still can't hit you, and don't tell me I'm slow, because this has nothing to do with speed. Sasuke growled. You're right, Sasuke. It has nothing to do with speed but rather with the Sharingan. Kyo said. Sharingan. Sasuke said. Yep. You see, to learn this style, one must first gain the last tomo in their Sharingan so it can be fully evolved. Then, that person must keep their Sharingan on all at times. But then, when they start fighting in that style, they must never use the Sharingan. Kyo began to explain. I don't get it. You said the key was the Sharingan and yet you don't want me to use it. Sasuke asked. The reason for this is that once your body gets used to the constant usage of your Sharingan, then once it is off, your mind will continue to react as the same as if you have the Sharingan. Kyo said. I see, so that way it helps conserve chakra, and if I do use the Sharingan, then the style will become even stronger. Sasuke said as everything clicked. Exactly. Now, let's get you that third tomo. Kyo said, and then activated his Sharingan and cracked his knuckles, making the boy gulp. The rest of the day went by and night came, where everyone was fast asleep except for 5 people. One of them was Gaara, who was looking at the full moon on top of a goldfish statue that found on top of a temple. I wonder how Namikaze Naruto's face will look like as we rip to pieces. I know it doesn't matter, brother, but still, it would be fun to find out. But how are we going to kill him? Geez, brother, you're such buzzkill. Unlike you, I actually like to find new ways to kill people. Whatever we do, it's going to be very exhilarating. Gaara said as he was somehow talking to himself. You sure got me. Do you not go to sleep? Dosu asked as he was on the temple rooftop. You're another one of those weaklings. What do you want? Gaara asked with a smile. I was planning on killing you while you were sleeping, but since you're awake, I'll fight you right here and right now. If I can kill you and then Sasuke, then I have a higher chance of becoming a Chunin. I already know about your sand attacks, but I wonder if it's faster than sound. Dosu said. Oh, you want to kill him, big brother? Okay. Gaara said. Big brother. Dosu wondered. Tell me something, vermin. How strong is your existence? Gaara asked in a deeper tone. My existence. What are you talking about? Dosu asked. If a fight to the death, the only two things that are challenged are our existences. The one with the stronger existence will win and devour his opponent's existence, completely erasing them from the face of the earth. That is the way of the strong, and that is why you will die, because your existence is not strong enough. Gaara said, and his eyes then turned yellow. What the hell? What's going? Dosu said as he saw something unfolding in front of his eyes. He then saw something head for him, and before he could even scream, it ran right through him, leaving a huge claw mark on the roof and leaving a very dead Dosu on the ground. My existence will never die. Gaara said. Wow. So that's his true identity. Kabuto said as he was talking to Baki not too far from the site. But is that alright? He was a Oto Genin after all. Baki asked. He's no longer worth of any value, though he was useful in seeing the strength of your weapon. Kabuto said. Kabuto and Baki of the Sand. What are they doing so late at night? Hayate said as he overheard them talking. Do you think it's a good idea meeting like this? They still don't know you're actually a sound ninja, not a leaf. If they find out who you are, it would cause great trouble for us. Baki said. There's no need to worry. Everything will be going according to plan, you can trust me and Orochimaru-sama. Kabuto replied. How can this? Hayate thought. Hear our plans. Also, it's about time they know about this plan, so please inform them. Kabuto said as he gave a scroll to Baki containing the plans. Yeah, Baki replied as he grabbed the scrolls. I'll excuse myself then, Kabuto said and started to leave. Our ally, the sand, was already connected with the sound. I must inform Hokage-sama of this immediately. Hayate as he prepared to leave. Oh, and one more thing. I'll clean up the mess. Kabuto said with a crazed look on his face. I'll test what kind of guys they have moving around, he added. No, I'll do it. As a partner, the sand should do something too. Besides, it's only one rat, it's no problem. Baki said. Hayate discovered that he has been spotted and disappeared, and so did Baki. They both ended up on top of a building at the same time. Mr. Examiner, what a surprise to see you. Baki said. It looks like I will have to fight. Hayate said as he coughed and then took out his sword and then rushed toward Baki and looked as if he was split into three. Leaf style. Dance of the Crescent Moon. Hayate yelled out and then slashed Baki around his right shoulder. This technique is the legendary dance of the Crescent Moon. To be able to master it at such a young age. I'm impressed, but you see, a material sword can be stopped rather easily. Baki said, and Hayate found himself unable to pull his sword out. However, a blade of wind cannot be stopped by no one. Baki said. This was all Hayate thought before he was cut up by a blade of wind. The next morning, Naruto was eating breakfast while thinking over the steps of the Rasengan. Jiraiya-san said in order to master the Rasengan, 3 steps have to be mastered. The first 2 require rotation, with the second one just adding more power. The third one is a combination of both steps. It's much harder than I thought. Naruto thought. To think about it, it's like trying to form a tornado or hurricane, really. Eureka! That's it, Naruto said mentally, and then finished his breakfast and then headed back to the springs. Meanwhile, all of the Junins were assembled in the council room where the Hokage and 2 council members were seated. Hayate was killed, Kakashi said in shock. Yes. He was found by the Kikyu castle this morning. The Hokage answered. Was the opponent Orochimaru? Anko asked. No, we can't make that assumption. Hayate must have overheard someone from the sound and someone from the sand talking about their plans. The one thing for sure, Orochimaru is definitely up to something, alright. Kakashi said. Then we should cancel the exams with Orochimaru. Raida said. No. He already revealed himself to Anko and urged not to cancel it, this Chunin exam among shinobi allies. Hokage said. What are you saying? Homura asked. Orochimaru has the power to destroy a small country by himself. Since escaping this village, many countries have set their eyes on him. Plus, he coincidentally has a grudge against this village and many countries would want him. The Hokage explained. Then that means one of our allies has joined up with Orochimaru to betray the leaf. Raida said. Well, the alliance agreement is nothing more than a verbal promise, it hasn't really stopped any great wars in the past. Kakashi said. Either way, we don't have enough information, let us not worry needlessly. Hokage said. We have already have Anbu gathering information in other countries. We shouldn't be too focused on this, the enemy may try to use that to their advantage. Koharu said. Plus, I trust you guys. If the time comes, we will assemble all of our strength and fight. The Hokage said, and all of the Junins nodded. They, among with the council members, started leave until there was only Kakashi and the Hokage. Now, what did you want to ask me, Kakashi? The Hokage asked. Ah yes, that, Hokage-sama, do you know anyone by the name of Kyo? Kakashi asked, and as soon as he did, the Hokage's eyes widened as if they had seen a ghost. No way, Jiraiya said as he was seeing Naruto performing the Rasengan in front of him, that's impossible. It took his father 3 years to master that jutsu and he did it in 1 day. He's incredible, Jiraiya thought in shock. You see, what really helped is my affinity with wind. If you think about it, the Rasengan is basically a compressed and smaller tornado, thus causing more internal damage than external damage. So, all I had to do is to visualize this like trying to form a hurricane or tornado, and with the help of Kakashi Sensei's chakra exercises back in wave, I'm able to do the technique. Unless you think about it that way, it becomes much harder to master it. Naruto said. But why would a tornado help you learn it? Jiraiya asked. That's because a tornado has the same qualities, both use a combination of intense rotation with maximum power. So in the end, you are trying to compress a tornado of chakra into a small ball shape in order to be used to cause tremendous internal damage. Naruto explained. Wow, you're a genius. Alright then, are you ready to take it to the next level? Jiraiya asked. Next level? I thought this was it. Naruto asked, confused. You see, the Rasengan that your father mastered was the first part of an even bigger jutsu. You now have to add your nature manipulation into it. Jiraiya said. Adding my nature manipulation? Naruto repeated. Yep, and let me tell you something, this step is unlike any of the others. In fact, not even your father was able to do it, and he was a genius like you. Jiraiya said. But I'm not my father, I'm Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, and I will finish this technique. Naruto said with a smirk. Well, it looks like we finally did. Nice job, Sasuke, now we can move on to the next phase of your training. Kyo says with a smirk as a beat-up Sasuke was looking at him through a Sharingan with 3 tomos now. Kurikagure. Mizukage-sama, a letter from Konoha has arrived. A man wearing a blue robe said as he handed the letter to the Mizukage. It looks like we have been invited to see the Chunin exams in Konoha. The Mizukage said, and judging by the voice, it would be safe to assume that the Mizukage was a female. Shall I prepare your things for the trip, Mizukage-sama? The man asked. Yes, Kaneda, the Mizukage said, and then the man disappeared. Konoha? Huh, isn't that where Sasuke and Naruto are from? It's been a while since we last saw them, I wonder how strong they've gotten. What do you think, Mizukage-sama? Shinji said with a grin as he was laying back against the wall in the room. The Mizukage took off her hat, and it was none other than Haku.